Chuck Schumer just made the most catastrophic political miscalculation in modern Senate history. While the legacy media desperately tries to spin the government shutdown narrative, explosive new polling data reveals a stunning reality that Democrats never saw coming, and it's about to reshape American politics forever. Stick with me to the very end of this video because we're witnessing the complete collapse of the Democrats in real time, driven by internal party dynamics so toxic that even their own voters are demanding surrender. The numbers I'm about to show you don't just predict Republican victory. They expose fundamental contradictions within the Democrat coalition that could destroy the party's electoral viability for years to come. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you make sense of the madness as the far left desperately tries to stop the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age that you are making happen all over the world. So if you want a front row seat on how you're changing the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We are now in day 7 of the Schumer shutdown. The polls are in, and they are an abject disaster for the Democrats. According to the latest Harvard-Harris poll, 62% of respondents believe that Trump and the Republicans will win the government shutdown. Only 38% think the Democrats are going to come out of this victorious. Even worse, 65%, a supermajority, want the Democrats to end this shutdown by accepting the clean continuing resolution keeping current spending levels as passed by the Republicans in the House. 65% want the Democrats to fold and accept the clean CR and end the shutdown. And that number is only going to get higher. It's only going to climb as this shutdown lingers on. Now, this is in line with the historic precedent where the party that makes the demands is almost always the one blamed for the shutdown, because while most voters may support those demands, they generally don't think those demands should be used as an excuse or as a weapon to shut the government down. And this is exactly what's happening to the Democrats as we speak. In fact, take a look at this. The same poll asked, does the government shutdown make you more likely to vote for the Democrats or the Republicans in the midterms? 36% say it makes them more likely to vote Republican. Just 34% say they're going to go with the Democrats. 30% say it has no effect. So 66% of the public either are more likely to vote for Republicans or are relatively agnostic as a result of this shutdown. I mean, seriously, if the Democrats thought that they were going to come out ahead on this, that single poll alone should be enough to crush such unrealistic aspirations. Now, what's so interesting is that 65% figure from Harvard-Harris mirrors exactly the New York Times poll that came out just before the shutdown when voters were asked, should Democrats vote to shut down the government if their demands are not met? 65%, the exact same number, 65% of respondents said no. They should not be shutting down the government. So we're getting corroborative evidence here that a supermajority is not going along with the Democrats on this. So the obvious question in all of this is why? Or what on earth could possibly compel the Democrats to go on a suicide mission like this? And I think in a word, that why or that what is desperation. I think the shutdown proves that a desperate party does desperate things. All the polls show that while the vast majority of the country, a majority of Republicans, a majority of independents, a vast majority of the country want the Democrats to work with Trump and the Republicans, I mean, obviously in a fruitful way to better everybody's lives. By contrast, the Democrat rank and file, they want blood. They want their leadership to fight Trump, and they're not happy with the perceived passivity of their leadership. The latest NPR Morris poll shows that only 26% of registered voters approve of the Democrat Party, and that's because only 48% of registered Democrats approve of their own party's congressional performance. So when Biden was sworn into office back in January of 2021, that inter-party approval was in the high 80%. So those numbers have been they've been slashed in half. Moreover, at the same time, you've got a looming primary challenge from AOC breathing down the neck of Chuck Schumer, who has the lowest approval rating of any member of Congress. And so, the Democrat leadership is, in a word, desperate. They desperately need a fight that they could try to use to shore up support among their base. And so they chose a government shutdown. But the problem, again, is historically the party that makes the demands is almost always ultimately blamed for the shutdown, especially the longer it goes on. And we saw that right away with the New York Times polling, but now it's only been corroborated by the Harvard-Harris with the same number. 65% want the Democrats to stop these antics. So once again, in acting from a position of desperation, we're looking at yet another example of the Democrats finding themselves on the wrong side of the 80-20 doom loop, where they're planting their flag on yet another issue that only garners about 20 or 30% support among the most rabid liberal left-wing constituents. So this is why CNN's Van Jones is saying this is yet another example of the Democrats doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. And then he added, for the right reasons. I certainly do not agree with that latter assessment. I think their desperation is hardly a right reason. But even Van Jones is recognizing that the Democrats are indeed doing the wrong thing at the wrong time here for sure. In fact, the latest CBS YouGov poll asked voters, look at this. They asked voters, what words come to mind when they think of the Democrats? Look at this. 64% say weak. 64%. We're seeing that number pop up a lot. 65, 64. The Democrat Party is the party of weakness in the eyes of the supermajority of the nation. They are the party of frailty, of fragility. And, unfortunately, that's exactly what's been happening to young men of late, right? We've all heard the studies. Testosterone in young men is drastically decreasing every decade. One major study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found a healthy 22-year-old in 2000 had double the testosterone, double of a 22-year-old today in 2025. It's an absolutely stunning development. And so if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, you might want to listen up. Meet Mars from the Wellness Company, a doctor-formulated nutraceutical designed to restore vitality without synthetic hormones or stimulants. Mars helps men to naturally increase testosterone, enhance circulation, and improve strength, focus, and sexual performance with Tongatali tribulus, horny goatweed, yes, it's actually called that, and zinc. This isn't about masculinity, it's about health. Low testosterone affects energy, it affects motivation, fertility, muscle mass, mood, and yes, future generations. So if you're looking for a boost, Mars will have you feeling like you're on another planet. So don't be a weakling Democrat. Click on that link below right now or head on over to twc.health/Turley and use code Turley to get 15% off plus free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/Turley. Use code Turley to get 15% off and level up your performance today. President Trump's approach to this shutdown has been absolutely genius. He's demonstrating in very real time an extremely sophisticated political strategy that contradicts conventional media narratives. So again, while the legacy media is doing everything they possibly can to try to pin the shutdown on Trump and the Republicans, which again, on its face, is on the surface, it's absolutely absurd. They're not making any demands. Trump and the Republicans are not making a single demand. They just want to pass a clean CR. That's at 27 pages, the same CR that passed back in March when Chuck Schumer voted for. They're not making any demands. But regardless, while the media is desperately and unsuccessfully trying to pin this on the Republicans, Trump has actually been rather uncharacteristically quiet. He continues to govern as the nation's chief executive, brokering peace in the Middle East, as we're seeing with Israel and Palestine, cracking down on rogue, lawless mayors and governors who are relatively unpopular in their blue states of Oregon and Chicago. And he and the OMB manager, Russell Vought, have been working, again, rather quietly behind the scenes, deliberately allowing Congress, specifically Democrats, to own this crisis. Trump's approach represents what we might call a masterclass in strategic patience. He understands that were he to start engaging in vocal confrontation, that would shift the media focus to him rather than the Democrat intransigence. So he's staying relatively quiet and focusing on law and order, both internationally and here at home. And this tactical brilliance becomes evident when examining voter perception. So while the earliest polls in the first few days of October showed that Americans just sort of initially knee-jerk blamed Republicans more heavily because of the skewed biased legacy media coverage, well, the Harvard-Harris data is now revealing a critical shift. Voters are increasingly recognizing that it's the Democrats who are the ones demanding policy changes, while Republicans simply want to maintain current spending levels. And historically speaking, the party making the demands is the party that gets blamed for the shutdown. And so it's no coincidence that according to the latest Harvard-Harris poll, 63% of independents want Democrats to end the shutdown immediately. The problem is they won't. The Democrats won't because they're operating from a position of desperation and weakness. Most analysts believe this shutdown is going to continue for the next couple of weeks at least. The longest one, historically, if I recall, is 30 days. It's about a month. But the key here, and all the polls are showing it, the longer this drags on, the more voters are going to pin the blame squarely on the Democrats because they're the ones holding out, making the demands. At the exact same time, Trump and OMB Director Russell Vought are quietly but effectively chipping away at the administrative state each and every day the shutdown continues. The power and the authority to run D.C. has shifted completely away from the legislative branch that's basically been shut down and now to the executive branch of government, with Democrats literally handing Trump the very authority and power that they've been screeching and warning about. And so bottom line, the political calculus here is that the Democrats have everything to lose as this shutdown continues, and Trump and the Republicans got everything to gain. The risk-reward ratio is completely disproportionate in the Republicans' favor. The polls reveal more than temporary political difficulties for Democrats. They expose fundamental strategic miscalculations that threaten long-term party viability. Chuck Schumer's capitulation to progressive activists has created a political trap. Satisfying the most radical, rabid base alienates general election voters, while moderating his position to appease those general election voters invites career-ending primary challenges from the progressive left. Meanwhile, Trump's strategic restraint allows Democrats to own the crisis, while Republicans benefit from appearing reasonable and solutions-oriented. The mathematical reality is stark. 62% of voters predict Republican victory, and 65% want Democrats to surrender. This polling data doesn't just predict Republican success in ending the shutdown. It forecasts a broader political realignment where Democrats' progressive capture creates systematic electoral vulnerabilities. It's called the 80-20 doom loop. The Schumer shutdown isn't just backfiring. It's revealing the fundamental contradictions within modern Democrat coalition politics that Republicans can exploit for years to come. The question isn't whether Democrats will lose this particular battle. Voters have already decided on that outcome. The question is whether Democrat leadership, possesses the political courage to acknowledge reality before the progressive base destroys the party's electoral viability entirely for generations to come. So what do you guys think? You're the ones changing the world. Are the Democrats in deep doo-doo? Let us know in the comments section below. And as always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to hear anywhere else. God bless, gang. Hey, gang, quick question. Do you miss my short videos? You know, the fast hits, the bold truths in under 60 seconds? Well, I've heard from so many of you who love those clips. I'm bringing them back in a big way. I just launched a brand new channel called Turley Clips. It's all short form every day. I'm posting powerful, shareable, hope-filled truth bombs that will fire you up and shake the system. So if you've been craving those quick hits of sanity, you need to be on this channel. Subscribe to Turley Clips right now. Send it to friends and family as well. Please share it abroad, and I can't wait to see you there.